I'm going to go on here so you can see. All right, it's showing that we're broadcasting. Do you see it, Lee?
Yes, it says live.
Oh, there it is. It just popped. I'm looking on my phone.
Dr. Barbara. Hello, hello.
Goodness, I am so excited. I am super, super, super excited, but let me calm myself down.
Okay.
Let me calm myself down so I can tell the people who I am. Not everybody knows. I know sometimes in my head I think I'm a celebrity, but not everybody knows Barbara Sweeney. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I am Dr. Barbara Sweeney, your life and holistic leadership coach and coach trainer. I am the founder and CEO of the Deeper Leader Institute for Personal and Professional Development, where true leadership starts with self-leadership. We coach, train, and certify leaders who are looking to become more effective leaders in their current role, or looking to launch their own life and leadership business. I'm also the founder of Deeper Women Lead Global. I was about to say .org. Deeper Women Lead Global, and the creator of Deeper Women brand. I'm so excited tonight to have the opportunity to talk about Deeper Women Lead Atlanta. That is our upcoming event, March 19th at the Sheraton Suites Galleria, Atlanta Hotel. I am excited to invite you guys out. Listen, if you have not already reserved your seat, you don't want to miss Lee Watts. If you have not already reserved your seat, you need to get over to deeperwomenleadglobal.org and register. Take advantage of the early bird registration. And I'm going to jump in with Lee, but you don't want to miss her in person. You see her now with her Ruby Woo lipstick on. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. So, sitting on the Deeper Women Lead stage is my friend, a keynote speaker at Deeper Women Lead Atlanta, my PR person, the Deeper Women Lead Atlanta official marketing and branding specialist, Miss Lee Watts.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Thank you.
We're going to jump in with Lee. Lee, I've learned that, and I said this last night to Dr. Vaughn, who was on, the person who's doing the most talking is the person who is interviewing. So I'm going to allow you, I'm going to try, because you know I try to jump in there. I'm going to allow you to do the most of the talking tonight, so the Deeper Women Lead audience can get to know Lee Watts. So jump in and tell us a little bit about yourself, Lee.
Okay. So good evening. I am Lee Watts, and as Dr. Barbara mentioned, I am all things marketing and branding. Been doing it for over 20 years and really excited about what I do and just helping people tell their stories with clarity and however that comes out. I'm originally from Ohio, but I live in Atlanta, and I have 2 young men that I'm growing and nurturing and believing in God's best for them. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Good stuff. Lee is being very modest right now. She is a real kick butt. I met Lee about 5 years ago. She was trying to help me launch my brand, and I was so nervous and afraid. I was writing my book. I was so scared to get it out there, but she said, "Get over here. We're gonna do these videos." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So, Lee, I just want to give the people a little background about Deeper Women Lead and how it was born. Deeper Women Lead was launched with the publishing of this book. This is my very first book. It's Always Deeper. When I wrote this book, I had absolutely no idea what that was going to mean for the brand. I didn't know that Deeper was going to even become a thing. It was just me trying to get my thoughts in writing. But we launched the book back in 2018 along with our first Deeper Women Lead conference. It was called Deeper Women Speak, and I had 4 speakers on the stage. It was me and 3 of my friends. However, since that time, over the past 4.5, 5 years, we have grown. And this year, we will be hosting more than 20 speakers at Deeper Women Lead Atlanta. And I am just thrilled and overwhelmed sometimes with what can happen if you just get started. It's Always Deeper. The book actually started as an article. It was my goal to get an article published in a magazine, and that was where my vision stopped.
Right.
Deeper grew into a book, and now my baby is taller than me. She's outgrown me. So I'm super excited to have Lee on my team now. It feels so good to have somebody on my team. So Lee, I want to ask you this question. Lee, I have seen you on many stages. You have spoken at many conferences. You've done keynotes. You've done panel discussions. You've done sessions. What attracted you to the Deeper Women Lead stage? Why this platform?
I'll try to take out the fact that you're a dear friend of mine. But I want to touch on the answer, and also something I wanted to insert even as you were talking about your journey. And one of the things that attracted me to the conference and to this stage is seeing how consistent you've been with Deeper Women, all things deeper. And over the years, I mean, you have just been consistently going, and that consistency is the essence of integrity. And just seeing, through different seasons of your life and, growing your girls and going through all those different things, you were focused in different facets of the Deeper Women. And so that's one of the things that attracted me to this conference and this stage. It's not a fly by night. It's not something you just want to do.
Right.
Not trying to just make some money or whatever. I know the commitment to your values around this, and to the message. So that's one of the things that really attracted me.
Man, you just said something so powerful that I had not thought about in that way. You said consistency is what did you say?
The essence
The
of
essence of integrity.
Mhm.
That's tweetable. If you're on here, tweet that.
Yes.
Consistency is the essence of integrity. Man, that's pretty powerful. That's awesome. All right, Lee, what would you tell other women? Now, I'm a woman in leadership. You're a woman in leadership. When I was going through all of my stuff, my having my in the closet moments, my going into the office, crying in the office, and then walking out with this smile, sometimes putting on my ruby woo lipstick to hide the tears. We don't get to hide and heal. We don't get to take a sabbatical while we go heal and get ourselves together. We still are charged with leading. What would you tell women who are struggling in a leadership role, but dealing with their own personal struggles?
One of the things, because like you said, we all have our stories and our struggle. And one of the things that really helped me and got me through is I had to begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that and there's been various struggles, right? But if I were
Mhm.
just thinking about the pivotal one in my life, which was probably my divorce, and I was married to a pastor, so there was a lot of things that came with that
Mhm.
divorce, and a lot of years in ministry and just doing all those things, and you go through like, was that a waste? What was all of that for if this was how it
Mhm.
was going to end? So a lot of identity issues came out, but I had to think about, what did I want my ending to look like?
Mhm.
I had to
Mhm.
begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
And sometime and just like in strategy work, with business and things like that, you want to like work backwards and think about, the end game and then what does it take to get there. And
Mhm.
so as you're going through your healing and your hurt and all those things, you do the things, you do the work, whether
Mhm.
it's therapy and your spiritual life and all those things. But I
Mhm.
encourage people, because again, one of my core values is clarity,
Right.
um, to get clear on what you want your end to look like,
Mm.
and believe that that can happen, and then you kind of work backwards. So
That's good because you are indeed a clarity girl. You mentioned earlier about the consistency of the brand, Deeper Women, and I would have to credit you with helping me get to that clarity. So, Lee, when you're sitting down with your clients and you're helping them to achieve that clarity, what experiences do you pull on to help them get to their own clarity?
so definitely identifying, um, who is it that you feel like you've been called to speak to?
Mm.
And so as soon as clients tell me, "Oh, I think I'm here to help everybody,"
Hmm.
which we hear that a lot, and I have to kind of reel them in. Like, I understand we want to help everybody, but who do you really feel like you're called to? I always talk about your why,
Hmm.
right? So, what
Yes,
is it that propels you, gets you up out of bed? Why are you still living? Why are you still
absolutely.
here? And then some of the other things that I get to are, talking about at least three pivotal moments in your life, whether it's something someone has said to you or events that have happened that kind of define the before you and after you, because that
Mhm.
kind of, helps understand like what changed us, whether again someone said something or something happened. And then I also, when it comes to marketing and branding, a lot of times, people focus on colors and logos and great photo shoots, but emotion is a big part of that. So, as I'm
Mm.
helping people develop clarity, I always want to ask, what is the emotion that you want people to have when you walk into the room? And
Mm. That's good.
even when I go back to even the spiritual part of it, the Apostle Paul talked a lot about in Corinthians about being a fragrance.
Mm. That's
And
good.
so if we think of ourselves as a fragrance,
Yes.
what kind of fragrance are we leaving?
Mm.
Whether we're intentionally doing it or we're always leaving something behind.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so my goal is always for women to be more intentional about
Mm.
what they're leaving. I'm not trying to change you.
Right. Right.
Just trying to say, do you know what you're leaving,
Right.
first of all? And is that what you
Good.
want? Is that really what you want to communicate? Because
That's
if not, let's begin with the end in mind and let's come up with a plan to be more intentional.
That's good. Do you really know what you're leaving? You
Yeah.
know, leadership really is, and John Maxwell says, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. And you said something similar. Um, whether you think you are or not, you are influencing something or somebody. You're
Absolutely.
influencing a process or a person. So you have to decide. You have to get really, really clear. And I tell my clients this all the time. Leadership, their leadership has two purposes. Really, the purpose is twofold: is to inspire action and to develop other leaders. And there are two things that are key in each of those. You have to decide what action will you inspire, and it is very difficult to develop other people if you haven't taken time to develop yourself.
Yes.
So when you get those clients, Lee, and they are just all discombobulated and confused, um, how do you get them to that identity piece? Because clarity of purpose is very, very connected to clarity of identity. How do you get
Yes.
to the bottom of what it is they're really looking for?
It's normally when I'm doing the clarity session and
Mhm,
asking them all these questions, and I give them back the clarity report and I talk through that, then I see all the aha moments come in. And
mhm.
so normally it's an interesting thing about human beings, and you probably definitely know this from being a coach, is that typically people already have the answers already within them.
Yes. Mhm,
It's just having someone bring it out and put it before them.
mhm.
So that's kind of what I'm doing, is putting it in a nice, neat
Good.
package and saying, "This is what
That's
I
good.
see. Do you agree?" And they're like, "Yes, yes, yes." And so I'm like, "Okay, so
Good.
let's line up your strategy plan, after that." So it's just pulling out what's already in them and just
Mhm.
lining it up and making it clear.
That's
I
good.
think
That's
I think
good.
people tend to complicate their lives and situations,
Yeah.
and sometimes we all do it.
Yeah.
We're too close to it sometimes, and the further out you get somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight,
Mhm.
they can normally help, like, see things a little bit more clearly and align it for you. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And Lee, one of the things that I really like about you is you can come across as mean or hard, but no, what I mean, no, no, you're nice tonight. But
Okay, alright.
it feels it well, let me clarify. It feels mean and hard when you're the one that's trying to get the clarity.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you're sitting outside of me, kind of pointing at the things that I may not be seeing clearly because of my perspective, because I have this toxic entanglement with my own desires. I know when I was writing the book, I had a writing coach and she would just rip it to pieces. And I thought she was mean.
Right.
But how do you separate the two, Lee? And I know you do this work for other people, and I know that you're able to do this work for other people because you've had to do it for yourself. How do you separate, kind of have that out of body moment with your own issues and the decisions that you have to make?
Um, it well, I still struggle. I mean,
Mhm.
I have moments where I have to coach myself and get pull myself out of it. Um, but I mean, I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but for me, it just always comes back to y get clarity. Like,
Clear.
what is your goal, Lee? Like, at the end of the day, what is this all about? And um I know what my why is and
Mhm.
my mission, so I try to line everything up with that,
Mhm.
um, even to some degree in my personal life, so it's like friends and relationships that kinda don't align with that,
Mhm.
um, once you know what you're clear on, other things kinda tend to fall off,
Yes. Yes.
whether you choose it or not. Because if
Absolutely.
you're passionate enough about your vision and your future, people get uncomfortable if they don't see themselves in it, and
Mhm.
they just kind of naturally pull away.
All the way.
So,
I
yeah.
said, I was at a speaking engagement back in October, and I told them, be careful when you get clear because people are not going to like you.
Yes.
Because for the first time in your life, you will say no and mean it.
Right.
You know what to say no to, and you are loyal to your yeses.
Yes.
So clarity comes with a cost,
Yeah.
but again, we have to untie, get out of the toxic entanglement with stuff that no longer serves us.
Right. Exactly.
So, Lee, when you went through your divorce, Lee, I've been through a divorce. It's a thing that we deal with. When you were going through those struggles, and that divorce is, that's done. I don't even really talk about it anymore because that story
Right.
no longer my story.
Right.
When you are in a place of struggle, and you're, finding yourself in these blind spots of identity, who do you reach out to?
Oh, I forgot this question.
I know in leadership, you just feel like you don't have anybody. I felt like I had very few people. I have 9 brothers and sisters, and I did not cry with either of them going through the divorce. When they knew about the divorce, I was done with the divorce.
Yeah.
It was not that, because my brothers and sisters loved me like crazy. It was not that they wouldn't be there for me, but there was something in me that would not be vulnerable with them or anybody.
Yeah.
So who did you reach out to? Because it looks like you didn't reach out to anybody.
Very few people. I mean, I'm kind of hesitant to say this because I think I have people that think I was reaching out to
Yeah.
them, but I was probably giving them just very small pieces.
Yes.
And there's probably only 1 or 2 people that I probably gave, I was very, very vulnerable with.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I mean, definitely one was a mentor of mine. And I still am hesitant to mention names just because it gets
Oh yeah.
complicated.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I had a mentor and a very close friend that kind of saw the the worst parts and the
Mm-hmm.
hardest parts. And yeah, and I think it's okay for there to be a very, very few people or a small circle. And it's not that other people didn't support and love me in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have to kind of find the people who can just honor how you handle things and where you are and not pressure you to be somebody else.
Right.
Because there were a lot of people like, girl, I would be like, I would tell them and I would,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, that's not me. That's not what I need to,
Right.
and, and it's also, and I think another reason why I like, your platform and
Mhm.
even some of the things I've heard you talk about with Deeper Women is that everybody needs somewhere to bleed. And
Yeah.
it's just important to have people that just let you bleed and let
Mhm.
you just let it be ugly and not feel the need to fix it
That's so
or tell insert their own story in your bleeding.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I don't need to hear your story right now. I just need to bleed, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me sit here and bleed out, please.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes we want to get in there and rescue people, not understanding that we're rescuing them from their own safety.
Mm.
Because there's safety in your story. I remember when I was going through the divorce and the involuntary shift in my career, there were times when I would sit in my room and I would cry out to God and I would say, God, this sucks. Like, this hurts.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I would come home and tell my girls, listen, give me 30 minutes to an hour and I'll be back out. But I would sit there in it and I would say, this hurts, but I want to feel every bit of it because somewhere on the inside, I knew that if I didn't deal with it, if I had gone numb, then 3 to 5 years down the road, I would wake up and still be in that same pain. So
Yeah.
really sitting with it, and you said something earlier about kind of understanding who you are at the bottom of all of that. With everybody, I always encourage people to have a designated quiet time and journal. There have been times when I just get drop dead honest with me and God in my journal. And by the time I get halfway down the page, it's like this is just stuff.
Yeah.
Like, most of the stuff that we are worried about or anxious about is all an illusion, and half of it doesn't happen anyway.
Yep.
So
Yep.
all of the being, it was Jay Shetty that I heard say, perception is like a puff of smoke. So
Mm.
my perception, I have a perception about your perception of me,
Yeah.
and it's all just air.
Yeah. Yeah,
when really nothing that happens outside of me has anything to do with me. It's just your perception of me.
exactly.
So that being clear about your purpose and your identity and having clarity of, you talked about, and I think that's Stephen Covey, who says begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
Know where you're going, and then everything must with that.
Yes. One of the other things that really was powerful in my healing was, and I'm still pretty passionate about it now, was I ended up deciding to compete in a bikini
Mm,
weightlifting competition, which if anybody knows anything about that, those are pretty intense.
mm-hmm,
And it required so much of my mental and physical energy,
mm-hmm.
that I had to push myself outside of my normal
Absolutely.
routine and activity and believe something that I could not see.
Mm-hmm,
And it was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but the most fulfilling thing.
mm-hmm.
So in a short period of time, I lost about 30 pounds and then built all these muscles and then had to get on a stage almost naked and model and do all this stuff. But it was, when I tell you those hour and a half, 3 hour workouts in the gym,
Mm-hmm,
sometimes by myself, sometimes with a close friend, it was a time of prayer
mm-hmm.
and listening to things and reflecting and believing in myself and thinking about the end in mind. Like, it was such a wonderful cocoon I had been in as I was doing this. So, and now I'm not competing,
Mm-hmm.
but just the physical exercise, whatever it is for you,
Right, right.
and whatever you decide to do, but find something kind of outside of yourself
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that stretches you a bit and makes you feel good. Like,
Yes.
and that sounds like so simple, but no, a lot of people don't know, especially women. And
Mm-hmm,
I will even go a little bit further, especially Black women, because sometimes
mm-hmm.
we're taught not to feel good, that
Right,
everything has to be a
right,
battle and struggle.
right, right.
But know what makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like my little lip, and
Yeah.
it's not Ruby Woo anymore. I like NARS now.
Okay.
But and I know I don't want to make this sound simple, and but it is that simple,
It's
that
simple. Yeah.
we need to know the things in our lives that make us feel good. So when we're going
Mm-hmm.
through that healing, and when we need to know ourselves, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you feel good, you show up in a very different type of
Yes,
way.
you do. You do.
And when you're healing and going through, it's okay to show up and feel good. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get off that soapbox.
Good stuff. Yeah, yeah. We don't know. A lot of times we don't know what we want because our identities are so enmeshed with all of with the career, with the marriage, and all of that. I remember when I divorced, my first meal that I cooked in my new house, I was cooking for my girls. It was pork chops and gravy. And I remember standing over the stove, looking at the pork chop with the grease bubbling around, the oil bubbling around the edges, and thinking, I don't even eat pork chop. Like, why am I cooking this pork chop? I don't even eat like this. This is not even what I like. And my girls were sitting at the table, and you know what they turned to me and said? Mommy, we tried to tell you that, but you just kept cooking whatever he wanted to eat.
Oh wow.
And I
Wow.
couldn't even, in because I was so wrapped up in that, I didn't know myself, and I couldn't even listen to other people telling me who I was.
Mm,
So
mm.
that whole, getting clarity, that is key to almost everything. It can unlock everything. You talked about being in a fitness competition. And I don't know if you know this about me, Lee, but in 2014, I was also in a fitness competition.
I didn't know that. I knew you were very into tennis, but I didn't know about that.
Yes. So in 2014, it was an amazing transformation competition. It was the most empowering thing. And I would say it helped me to get through all of the other stuff that would come after, because for the first time in my life, I was able to accomplish something that I had not been able to accomplish in my whole life. So losing the weight, I would always, you lose it and you might keep it out for a week and you eat some Skittles or a biscuit, and now it's over for you.
Yep.
but but finding that thing that brings you peace, that isolates you from the world for just a time, because that's what tennis does as well. You're just out there on their court. You don't care anything about anything but getting the ball, hitting that ball and getting it across the net. So Lee, this has certainly been a pleasure, and I want to tell people one more time, if you have not registered for Deeper Women Lead Atlanta, you do not want to miss Lee Watts. She is one of our keynote speakers. She's going to be talking about her story, and I told her to be discreet in what she shares tonight because I want her to save that for the conference. The conference is on March 19th, 2022. It will be held at the Sheraton Suites, Galleria, Atlanta. That's Saturday, March 19th. If you have not registered, go to deeperwomenleadglobal.org and take advantage of the early bird registration. We are going to have a ball.
Yes.
22 speakers there for you. We have keynote speakers, we have session speakers, we have panel speakers. It is going to be an amazing day of empowerment, networking, and establishing new and different relationships. So I just want to say to Lee tonight, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We do have a couple of people in the room. I see one of your friends and mine, Miss Monique Russell.
Monique, yes.
Monique is here. Of course, Tanya Nicole. Tanya Nicole is our event planner, and she has to watch what we're doing because she said, you went way over last night. I love Miss Tanya Nicole. She's also a part of our team. She is our event strategist. So she works closely with me and Lee. So we're excited to have that team. I see Miss Tiffany Grace Davis, another speaker, featured speaker at the conference. I'm excited. Tiffany is also my friend. Now, I promise you it's not all my friends that I've gathered. But I do have some really good sisters and friends that, no matter how long it is before I speak to them, when we speak, it's like we never stop talking. So thank you so much. Lee, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing because we cannot end this video without talking about the moment we met where Kim Mingo Franklin pulled us together for Grace Grit at that kitchen table in Mableton, Georgia.
Yes.
And I knew as soon as I still have the picture of the first time of us meeting, and we knew that we would always, it was instant connection.
It was an instant connection from that day to this week.
And I was like, that's why I pushed, when you talk about how I can be so mean and push, when I know and when I see what's in somebody, I will keep pulling it out. So I knew what was in you. So when we were meeting in that day doing video, I'm like, oh no, you're going to do this.
I was like, no, you. So you want me to walk and speak at the same time? Where does that happen? What are we doing?
Yes.
You pushed and pushed. And yes, Lee mentioned Grace and Grit. Grace and Grit is another women's empowerment group that we are a part of, and we've just become sisters in grit.
Yes.
We've become. So I thank you so much, Lee. I'm so excited to see you in your glory on the stage, doing your thing. If you have not registered, get over to deeperwomenleadglobal.org. Take advantage of the early bird registration. We have a power-packed day planned for you. And before we get out of here, Lee, can you tell the people where to find you?
Yes. You can find me at Ashby, ASHBY, and andwatts.com is my website. And Lee Ashby Watts on Facebook, and I really love Instagram. So that's Lee, Lee _ Ashby and Watts. So follow me everywhere there. And I honestly can't wait to just see people in person, and especially women. And I live only 10 minutes away, but I can't wait to just be in the hotel and just,
Just get away.
yes.
It is
So
going to be an amazing event. I'm so excited. I can barely sleep. Well, I do barely sleep. Um,
yes,
People say, "Well, how are you getting it all done?" Well, I do it at night. Sometimes in the middle of the night.
yeah.
So thank you so much again, Lee. It was my pleasure to have you here, and it's my pleasure to have you be a Deeper Woman on the Deeper Women Lead Atlanta stage.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye, everybody.